welcome back to Pima Voices. My name is Savannah, and I'll be your host. Today, I'm sitting down with Robert Ramirez, who is the program manager for Pima for Youth, and today we are going to be talking about how he's connecting the youth in Southern Arizona. How are you today, Robert?
Hey, good afternoon, Savannah. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in. Like I said, I see your name all the time, and I hear so many things about Robert. And then I'm like, who is Robert? So I'm here to learn about you today, and so is everyone else.
Excellent. I'm glad.
All good things, though, I promise.
Oh, all right. Fantastic. I mean, it's all true.
All of it plus more. Yeah. So, Robert, for Pima for Youth and your role as program manager, tell us a little bit about that. Like, tell us who you are. There's a lot to you, a lot that you do. Like I said, I always hear your name about this and that and so forth. And so, who is Robert? What do you do? And why is it so important?
Yes, thank you. Happy to introduce myself, Robert Ramirez. You know, the title is Program Manager for Pima for Youth, and I'm in the Workforce Development and Innovation Division. And the Pima for Youth program has 3 buckets, I would say. You know, the summer non-credit courses, you know, putting together summer youth courses for those youth kind of 13 to 17 years old, those experiences where they're in the classrooms here, getting some hands-on, maybe a half-day course, kind of a 4-hour experience. And then the second bucket would be kind of creating that college-going culture in the middle school kind of generations. There's how do we start that outreach to middle school students and get them ready and start thinking about their future? And then the third bucket is those very underserved, those students on the fringes. And what I mean by that are the foster youth, the juvenile justice, the reentry. There's a lot of other kind of community-based organizations out there that work with youth. They're not necessarily your traditional high school that have a counselor in there. They could be an alternative school for students that have criminal backgrounds and can't go back into a regular school. It could be a GED program at a partner like Goodwill. It could be our Pima County Youth One-Stop Center. So there's just so many other groups out there, and one of those big populations is what they refer to as opportunity youth. And opportunity youth is defined by ages 16 to 24, not in school and not working. So they're kind of maybe just, I'm not sure where they are. I'm trying to find them and get them to Pima.
Yeah. So how important do you think it is to reach these potential students and like tell them what could be their next step?
It's critical. I mean, I'm a father. I have a son and a daughter. You know, my son is 23, my daughter is 18, coming up on 19 here real soon. And I was a student. I'm from Tucson, so it's super important for them to just know what a valuable and what a gem Pima Community College is. Like when I start sharing what it is and those opportunities, people are just, their mind is blown. They don't realize that this was here the whole time. And even myself, you know, when I came to Pima as a student many years ago,
we won't clock that.
You know, I was even like, what? I can't believe this. So, you know, you can't understand what you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. So it's super important for them to kind of get that awareness and that access. I think a lot of them are missing that access and that awareness.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. Like from when I came to Pima, started here a while ago, when Chrissy, all of us, there's a bunch of us in our office who went to Pima, right? There's so much change and innovation that's happened. And some people are like, I didn't even know they had automotive technology. I didn't know they had aviation. Oh, there's fashion classes. Like, there's so many stuff that's here. And I think people just think of like, oh, college is just a place to like, oh, go get a AA and then move on, or, you know, get a bachelor's maybe or something, or stop there. But there's so much more offered now that you can like get a certificate, you can get an AA, but there's so many different pathways that I think, like you mentioned, many people don't realize how many opportunities are actually available here.
I mean, they don't even know about the transfer pathways. I mean, it's a lot of like writing 101 is writing 101. You know, like calculus is calculus.
Yeah.
If you do that at Pima, It's the same math calculus that hasn't changed in 2,000 years. So it's so important for the youth, for the families, for the parents, for these discussions, for the culture. Tucson is, I think we moved up to like the 26th largest city in the country this last kind of year. Like we're
that's a fact I don't know.
We're big. We're big. So I take a lot of pride in my city and in Pima.
Yeah, I mean, I always say like Tucson is like a small town feel for a big city, right? We're actually a really large city, but we all kind of know each other. So it's really interesting. So it has that small town feel to it, which is why I was like, how have we never met? Because you're all over the place, supposedly. Right? So you're all over the place. So where are you hiding, right? So, yes. I mean, I don't know much about the Pima for Youth program in general. And like you explain like the different buckets and things of it so much, but what else do you do? Like I know you were like a key person in implementing some funding through the Metallica Scholars. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Metallica Scholars Initiative. That's amazing opportunity to work with their foundation, all within my hands. Metallica has a little bit of a history here in Tucson as well. And Metallica in general, they're big on the trades. They're really big on getting people back into the skilled trades and the applied technology. So they're on year 7, and I think we're in year 5 participating with them. And it's really important because a lot of scholarships, a lot of funding isn't necessarily geared towards the trades. And Metallica is really leading that, and having them kind of like co-sign us is really huge. And it really does kind of, it's a testimony to like, we have a reputation across the country. Like people are watching Pima, and people see Pima, and people, they're copying us. They want to do the stuff that we do. So it's important. And it's also, it's work. It's a responsibility.
Yep.
It's a responsibility. So it's to help the students. And I would say when you think about Metallica, I mean, when people see that, they come up and they just want to talk about it. They're like, what? And to do that, and it's super exciting. Like there's just an extra bit of pride that people have when they know they're working with Metallica. So.
It is kind of a cool thing to say, like, Metallica? Come on.
Scholar. I'm a Metallica scholar.
Like, no big deal. And so when you talk about the trades and how that's supporting those programs, what does that fall under, if people don't know?
So trades, there's a lot of words people use, technical college, stuff like that. So here at Pima, in our kind of world, we call them applied technology, and that's going to be the building and construction and trade specifically for Metallica, that they are really into, the management, building construction, the electrician, the plumbing, the HVAC, the carpentry, and as well as all the other applied technologies that we have at our downtown campus, like automotive, welding, machining, CAD, and even cybersecurity. So, those 2-year associates of applied science degrees, that they're not meant to transfer to the university. You don't like get an electrician degree at Pima and then go to, business school at the U of A. You can, and those students do really great. They go from electrician to engineering, and they have both of that kind of that mindset. They could be an engineer and they're kind of mechanical. Those are the students that invent things and create stuff. So it means a lot too, because it's supporting them with tools, with like fees to pay for testing and equipment. It's definitely rough when you're done with school, you're graduating, and then the difference or the barrier to get into a job is a $200 pair of boots because like they're so Metallica has been coming in really clutch for those students.
Well, that must be a really great feeling to know that you were a part of that, right?
Yeah, definitely. I do. It is kind of gratifying. It's kind of, you get real nervous when you're handling, you're doing maybe some money things and you're doing those kind of stuff, or you're building it. But man, at the end, when you finally are done and you see those students and you did it, it is a great feeling, or when you're writing kind of those final reports for the grants and you're actually telling the story and you're like, wow, this is a good story right here. This
Yeah.
student, you know.
There's a lot of good things happening.
Mhm.
And, speaking of great things happening, so I've heard you expanded programs like dual enrollment, summer bridge, apprentice, help me out here.
Apprenticeships.
Training. So, and talk a little bit about that, because like I said, I feel like you do a lot within the college and the community, and like it may or may not fall exactly under the Pima for Youth umbrella, but like you're just doing so much greatness to add to the greatness of the college overall. So
Stop.
I'm gonna toot your horn,
All
and then
right.
you can toot your own horn
Yeah,
here.
toot
Just
the
again.
horn, yeah. This one has been really big. I think people talk about me because I unapologetically kind of fight for this. And I think in a nutshell, what I'm trying to do and kind of expand dual enrollments, expand those summer bridge opportunities, is really move the college advising piece into middle school in the 8th grade, because we have dual enrollment, we have JTED, we have CTE programs that I really want the families to treat their high school decision like a college decision. Like, you should be thinking about what college courses are being offered at that high school and at the other high school, and make your decisions that way. If you're into the machining and the automotive program, then this school is definitely the one you should be thinking about. Mm-hmm. Versus maybe this one that has a vet tech and a culinary and that's not really your lane. So moving it up into that 8th grade and working with like everybody across the college, right? And one of my biggest partners is the Pima County Superintendent's Office for Schools. And so this year, I'm really excited because we're going to get federal work study students in the 8th grade classrooms working.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Yeah. Look at you.
What's up?
He's like, hold on, you guys. I'm very excited.
Working with them there. I mean, and of course, that's just that in general, that's exciting, right? To have a Pima navigator in working in the 8th grade classrooms. And, helping them with like tutoring the math, the reading, the writing, because that's key for them to really do what I'm asking them to do, like go into high school and start taking college classes, start taking writing 101 by junior year. They have to be ready and be able to do that. So we got to get started a little bit earlier on that.
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. Like when I went to high school, I think dual enrollment was just being offered like my junior year, possibly because maybe a little bit before that actually, because one of my friends' sister graduated high school going into college as a sophomore because she took enough college credit classes. She was able to cut a year off from her college experience that way. And that's like, you're not paying college tuition either. They're free. Yeah, because I remember I took like writing 100, I took like psychology, criminal justice, a bunch of different things. And like, yeah, they're literally free, accessible college education to get started to the next step. But I didn't think about like a specific high school offering these other things because, well, I didn't do JTED or anything like that. I had a friend who did JTED, and she was able to get her CNA from JTED, and then she was already way ahead of the schedule. Yeah, and so I'm just like, I didn't think about specific high schools offering specific things, but that's just like such a great point that you don't really think about because that's not what it used to be, right? It's what it is now, though.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. For me, it was not available in school, and even for my kids, my son, it was kind of just barely really starting to pick up. But now, it's getting
it's almost like required, I feel like, in some schools. Like, I went to Marana, and from what I understand from Marana, I think a lot of them, it's almost required to be a part of JTED now. And so, like, they're already implementing, like, yeah, education is very important for you to get a job and continue thriving because it doesn't only just keep you thriving and offer you a sustainable wage, but it keeps the community thriving, right? And so, like, education is so, so important, and it should be a right to every single individual. And so you being able to kind of, like, navigate and show that and be like, listen up, like, just listen, is it's really important to have, and you should be really proud of all the work that you've done and all the work they continue to do and the work that you're inspiring others to do and inspiring others to think differently as well, right? To set them up for success and their next steps.
Yeah, and and it's working real intentional. Like I call them, digital assets. I've been really putting a lot of pressure on the community and my peers. Like they need some digital assets. We need some websites, some career exploration. So on top of like getting them in the classroom with the federal work study students and working with the Pima County Superintendent's Office, that this year we're piloting it with the 8th grade. But it's also super intentional because the Pima County, we have identified what our workforce, like what we need. We know what industries we have here, like what do we do, So really aligning it with those, saying like, look, these are the jobs in Tucson and Pima County, and this is the school and the training that you need to get to those jobs there. And working with just community partners, we got a website kind of built for them, for the schools to get in there, and it's kind of tied to what they're already doing as far as like, Pima, my degree plan, their version is like an ECAP or something. So it's all tied into that. And then each year for like the next 3 years, we're going to be rolling it out to like 10th, 11th, 12th grade.
Oh, look at you. Just getting things ready to go. So what advice would you give to someone who maybe is like, I don't really think college is for me. I don't think I want to go. I don't see the point. Or someone in my family, like, they didn't go, so why would I go? Or, hey, it's not accessible to me. Like, I think it's too expensive. Like, I think there's still that mindset. And there's also that mindset of the community college. Why would I go to the community college, And so what is, like, the advice that you give to those young people?
So much, right? That's a great question, especially kind of like, I got to show them what the college is, because kind of how we were kind of chit-chatting in the beginning here is like so many people don't even know what college is. They don't even understand, what a community college is. And I really kind of paint the picture that it's everything. We're super lucky. Like, we're blessed here in Tucson and in Pima County. Pima Community College is like all the junior technical 2-year colleges, all the different names that are used across the country, a liberal arts college, a transfer college, a JUCO, whatever.
A trade school, all sorts of stuff. It's so cool.
All of those.
We can just talk about this all day.
Yeah, we're all that in one, and so really kind of just, there's a lot of, myth busting, kind of really just, kind of talking with them, doing that. But I would say, kind of directly to them that, you don't know what you don't know, and if you don't see yourself in college right now, that's okay. That's not a problem. But go out there and get some skills. There's definitely ways to learn, and you can do that. And we have jobs, that we could certainly connect you with, trying to get you in that employment pipeline, and get you some experience. Because I think there's just a lot of fear, kind of like what you were talking about in dual enrollment. You get a chance to kind of take all these classes in high school. And yeah, you could jump right into year, be a sophomore year, but you can also completely change, and you're like, it's no loss. Like, you didn't lose anything. You're like, okay, I did all these, I did economics, I did that, but I'm going for welding. Yeah. Now I'm going this route. Like, this isn't a loss now, versus trying to I think a lot of people, they realize that they don't know what's out there, what they're kind of good at, what are those explorations. And, I was talking with a staff member today that being that undecided student is tough. Like, I'm undecided, like what kind of degree are you going to choose? And, I would say just get out there, start working, start getting some skills and stuff there. And, we'll meet you. We'll be ready for you whenever you're ready to come. There's no wrong door. You can come through, you get those experiences. We got prior learning experience. If your parents own a construction company and you're learning electrical and stuff like that on the job, we want to see how we can transfer that into college credits for you and maybe save you some time.
Mm-hmm. I think also it's really important to understand, like, if you're not ready to go to your university level, that's totally fine, right? I think a lot of people feel pressure in that sense, and it's okay to not be right. It's okay if your friends are going there and you're going here. Like, yeah. Totally okay. Totally. And also, this is a time to figure out what you want to do, right? Mm-hmm. Take those different classes You, like you said, you might be interested in welding, but you also might be interested in poetry. Like, take it, because you don't know what you'll like. And, you know, I've talked to people before about how you can be like a nursing student, but then you're taking like a painting class. Like, that's okay. You know, maybe that's your release in this and in that aspect. And maybe you realize you really like that instead. Like, this is the time to explore, figure that out, figure out what you want to do. Maybe you still don't like it after that. That's fine, but at least you tried and you explored those options to see what you do and you don't like.
Right, absolutely. And, you know, and then sometimes it gets real technical with them. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? You know, like, part of my thing is like, okay, well, are you going to go to the military? Do you have a job? And I think, you know, being as a parent and even myself, I think these real conversations, they have to happen. I call them crucial conversations. Like, these have to happen with them. We don't want to wait too late down the road to do that, because, you know, one of the ways I really try and break it down for a young person to think about it is, you know, go up high, right? If you go for aviation technician, you're probably going to be able to work on your car. You know, you're going to have those skills, right? You go for nursing, you'll probably be able to do some of those other stuff, but it doesn't go the other direction in that way. And for me, what really kind of clicked for me was a bachelor's degree, right? I wanted a bachelor's degree. That's what they say, okay? Well, a 4-year degree, well, what does that mean? I was like, what does that mean? And it doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't say that anywhere on the degree. And if you don't get it in 4 years, it doesn't matter. You could take 6 years, but it's 120 credits, basically. So the only way to get to 120 credits in 4 years is to do 30 credits per year. The only way to do 30 credits per year is 15 per semester. That's full time. So that's like mathematically the best you can do. Like, you know, so if you're saying I'm going to take a gap year and then I'm going to go part-time, you're looking at 8 years to do it. And how old will you be? So
That's okay too, because that was me.
and right, there's going to be those things. And if that's the case, then, you know, let's get you into work. Let's see about some apprenticeships. Let's see about getting some hands-on learning.
Yeah, there's always options, right? Yeah.
Right. There's not like a traditional way to get into college where it's, oh, I have to go sit in the classroom now, you know, and do like high school was. I'm going to be here all day and stuff there. You know, you could do online. You can do self-paced, 8 weeks. But that's definitely takes a lot of work.
It does. And having those, they're conversations that are hard, right? They're like adult conversations. Adult. And so it can be scary, but I think you're doing a lot of great work. So you should be very proud of yourself and all the work that you've done and all the work that you continue to aspire to do. And I know you have a lot of great ideas that are coming up, and we can talk about this all day. If we had more time, you'd still be here for a while. Right. But before we end, was there anything that you wanted to say or share, or something that you wanted to really talk about today that maybe we didn't get the chance to? Yeah, I mean, I definitely just wanted to share my story. I think for a lot of the Tucson youth and a lot of the young adults, even the adults out here, you know, that like I definitely didn't come here like that traditional path. You know, in high school here when I was growing up, I almost didn't make it out of high school. You know, like I got stabbed and I almost died. And when you kind of recover from those things and everything kind of flips on you and you don't really feel like you have a place, you don't feel like you belong or anything like that. Like, I know what that feels like. Like, I know what a lot of people here in Tucson, a lot of the youth, the young adults have experienced. And I just want to tell them, you're not alone. Like, nothing's wrong with you. You know, like, you just got to start trying to get better every day, you know, a little bit at a time. And, you know, when you're going to the gym and you're working out, it hurts, but it's really making you stronger, you know. And when you're doing certain things and it feels uncomfortable and it feels like that pain might be some growth on there. So every day you can get just a little bit better, and you got to read. You have to read. And there's always going to be support in some way, shape, or form, right? I think that's also important to know is there's resources, there's people here, like, you're never alone. And everyone's path in life is very different. I think there's a lot of times, especially in the day and age of social media being so strong, we get a little lost in what are the what ifs or could be. And I want my life to be like theirs. But you are an individual. You are the pilot of your life, right? You are going to drive it. And in the end, everything's going to work out. And you may not be where you thought you would be, but you will always find your place in this world. So I'm sure your younger self, if they saw you now, they'd be really proud of everything that you've done. So you should be very proud. And you seem like a very wonderful person who has a lot of wonderful things to say, and you have a lot of support to give and everything. So thank you.
Got a lot to give, so I get it.
Well, thank you so much for everything today. I've learned a lot more about Pima for Youth, about you. I'm glad I finally got to meet you in person, and now I'm like, I know Robert now, so it's all good.
When you hear them say that stuff, you know.
So thank you so much for coming in and sharing everything that you had to say today. Like I said, if we had more time, I'm sure there's so much more that we can pinpoint and talk about.
Of course.
So who knows? Maybe you'll have to come back on another time. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's episode. And I will see you all next week. Thank you. Bye.